This is VOA News. I'm Marissa Melton. With the timing of his Senate impeachment in limbo, U.S. President Donald Trump is lashing out at House Democrats. The AP's Ed Donahue has more.
Speaking at his private club in Florida, the president focused on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
She hates the Republican Party. She hates all of the people that voted for me and the Republican Party.
Pelosi is holding back on transferring to the Republican-controlled Senate the 2 articles of impeachment against the president. There are issues about format of the trial and whether witnesses should be called.
We have the majority, and it's up to Mitch McConnell. And we have the majority, and now they want McConnell to do wonderful things for them. I mean, he's going to do what he wants to do.
The president is expected to be acquitted in the Senate. He sees this as an opportunity for vindication. Ed Donahue, Washington.
President Trump says the United States is ready to deal with any Christmas gift that North Korea has threatened to deliver amid stalled nuclear negotiations between the two nations. North Korea has called on the United States to make concessions in nuclear talks and warned earlier this month it is entirely up to the United States what Christmas gift it will select to get. The nuclear negotiations have been stalled since February, with North Korea seeking sanctions relief before giving up any of its nuclear capability. That's a path the United States has so far rejected. At least 8 people, including 5 children, were killed Tuesday in Russian airstrikes in northwest Syria, as the United Nations warned youngsters are bearing the brunt of the violence. The UN has called for immediate de-escalation and warned of further mass displacement if the violence continues in Syria's last major opposition-held region. More on this and other stories available online at voanews.com. You're listening to VOA News. Israel has rejected a decision by the International Criminal Court in The Hague to launch an investigation into whether Israel committed war crimes in the Gaza Strip. Linda Gradstein reports for VOA News in Jerusalem.
The International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor said she believes there is enough evidence to launch an investigation into whether Israel committed war crimes in the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip. Fatou Bensouda's decision came after more than 4 years of investigation following a Palestinian request into Israel's conduct. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas welcomed the decision. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reacted harshly to Bensouda's decision.
This is a dark day for truth and justice.
Netanyahu said the ICC does not have jurisdiction because Palestine is not a state. Linda Gradstein for VOA News in Jerusalem.
Authorities in New Zealand are calling off the search for 2 bodies they believe were washed out to sea when the volcano on White Island erupted. Reuters' Ryan Brooks has the latest.
On Tuesday, New Zealand police ended the search for 2 people still missing following the deadly volcanic eruption on White Island early this month. Their bodies are believed to have been swept out into the ocean. Both a 17-year-old Australian tourist and a 40-year-old New Zealand tour guide are presumed dead. The police say they've delivered the news to their families, but assured them that they stand ready to act if any new information arises. In the wake of the tragedy, questions have risen over why tourists were allowed on an island with an active volcano.
That's Reuters' Ryan Brooks reporting. It's going to be a happy Christmas for Britain's royal family. Prince Philip, the husband of Britain's Queen Elizabeth, has left the London hospital where he spent 4 nights. AP's Zaria Shackley reports.
The 98-year-old left the hospital on foot and entered a waiting vehicle unaided. Buckingham Palace has not gone into details about his ailment or the nature of his treatment. Palace officials said the prince was admitted to the hospital as a precautionary measure due to a pre-existing condition. Prince Philip has suffered from heart disease and other ailments, including a bladder infection in recent years, and has largely stepped out of the public eye since he announced his retirement from royal duties in 2017. The Duke is now expected to join the rest of the royal family for Christmas at Sandringham House in eastern England. Zaria Shackley, London.
Pope Francis led the world's 1.3 billion Roman Catholics into Christmas on Tuesday, urging them not to let the Church's failings lead them away from accepting God's love. Christmas reminds us that God continues to love us all, even the worst of us, he said in his sermon. He celebrated a solemn Christmas Eve Mass in St. Peter's Basilica for thousands of people. Hundreds of others watched on large screens outside. I'm Marissa Melton. You're listening to VOA News.